Hey everybody, it's me again. I wanted to take a second to talk about Shadowlands. Now, I know that's kind of weird because it's November of 2024 and Shadowlands was a long time ago, but it's been coming up a bit recently and it's got me thinking a lot about that expansion, and I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts. So, recently, Taliesin and Evitel had an interview, and Ian Hazakostas stopped the interview at one point when they were talking about Goblin Cartel renown and basically wanted to apologize for the Covenant system and the post-Shadowland PTSD, as he called it. And I've also been seeing people talk about Shadowlands in regards to the Theater of Pain. So in Season 2, the Theater of Pain is going to be in the Mythic Plus rotation, and a lot of people are saying, Shadowlands was one of the reasons why most players quit, so stop making them return to it now. And I felt this way back then, and I still feel this way now, and I'm kind of curious. I want to see if anyone else feels the same way I do, but I liked Shadowlands. I know that's not the correct thing to say, but I really liked Shadowlands. And I really liked Covenants, too. For context, though, Shadowlands was my first expansion. I started playing World of Warcraft in 8.3. I don't know how soon after it had started, but it was pretty well into 8.3. And so, for all intents and purposes, the game was quote-unquote dead. I didn't know it at the time. I was just playing. I didn't follow any streamers. I just was introduced to the game through Classic WoW and all the hype around that. Saw the BFA trailer pop up on my YouTube, and the rest was history. I was downloading the game and I was having fun. I was leveling the characters. I didn't know what Mythic Plus was. I didn't know what raiding was all about. I didn't know the difference between heroic and mythic if you had asked me. So I was just having a ball, and everything was really good until I started wanting to get involved, or at least, start looking at YouTube videos, Twitch streams, and this feeling I had about the game started to fade because I was being told that this is the worst time for retail World of Warcraft, and at the time it was the end of BFA. And so I started looking more and more into WoW YouTube, and I was realizing that it seemed like I had missed the boat. That, the best had already come and gone for WoW, and that what was left is this woke, sad Disney World of Warcraft. They had taken the war out of Warcraft, and the game was bloated and not user-friendly and bad for new players. And I found that all really interesting because, to me, as an outsider that had just gotten into WoW, I thought the complete opposite. The first 6 months of WoW for me was incredible. I leveled so many characters. I explored everything. I remember being in awe about how many times I would turn a corner and there was another cool thing I was interested in, another cool quest, another cool zone, and I was just in heaven. But when I went and started consuming content around the game, it felt like everyone was thinking the opposite, and that was super disheartening for me. It's as if I was playing a different game. I went from not thinking about it to all of a sudden having the opinions of other people change my own. And also, for whatever reason, starting to care about, is the game dead or not? But once I entered the actual community space, it made it really hard to enjoy the game in the same way that I had did. And Shadowlands was announced, and I had some hope because everyone was really excited. It seemed like Shadowlands was going to amend all of the problems that BFA had brought with it. And it did for a little bit. The release, the announcement was insane. You know, the BlizzCon was super hype. I got to experience for the first time pre-patch and everyone getting excited, and Shadowlands ended up becoming the best-selling PC game of all time at the time. I know it's been passed since then, but at the time it was big, and it was during a time with COVID, and people had a lot of time to be at home and were looking for that social outlet. And so WoW was alive. It had blown up, and it was good. It felt good for me to feel like, okay, I hadn't missed it. You know, I'm here in time. I'm getting on the boat when everyone else is. And again, though, the same thing happened where I am playing this expansion and it's dark, it's gritty, the story's engaging for me. You know, I might not have all the years of context, but I was just enjoying the shit out of this game. And as the expansion went on, the discourse around it got worse and worse and worse, and we were right back into WoW is dead, it's dying, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. And I remember having a hard time holding on to my own opinion and not allowing the opinion of other people to alter the way I viewed the game. And I also allowed this, what I think, vocal minority, I allowed that to be how I perceived the entire community. You know, I would log in and I would project this feeling of, man, no one wants to be here. This game is dead. I shouldn't like this game as much as I do. And something I've noticed as I've stayed in this community, I've seen it go through these cycles, and I know you're hearing this and you're like, yeah, dude, it's been like this since Classic. But I mean, since I've been around, since the end of BFA, I've watched the game start to die, be resurrected, and then die over again, over and over and over again. And I eventually got kind of sick of the negativity and just decided that I was going to allow myself to have an opinion and trust that that opinion is correct for me. Because it often felt like there were a few people in the community, like let's say the talking heads in the community, that would have an opinion, and then the rest of their chat or their community would just kind of parrot that. So whatever they said, they would parrot it. Eventually, I just decided, like, okay, I'm just gonna like this thing, no matter what these people say. And I'm going to trust that if I like it, that is enough. As I was wandering around the Shadowlands zones for this video and just kind of getting nostalgic and looking at the old art and the transmogs and the mounts, I kind of began to wonder, like, am I not alone in this? Because when I think back, I never once commented on a YouTube video. I never once commented in a Twitch stream. So I was there enjoying Shadowlands in complete silence. But I was allowing myself to perceive the world based on the people willing to say what they thought. And it makes me wonder if there's I mean, this has to be true. There must be thousands of people out there just quietly enjoying this game and not saying a word. And that's part of the reason why I started making videos in the first place. Is back then I just desperately wanted to share my love for this game with somebody else. And it just often felt like everywhere I looked, whether it was the forums or YouTube or Twitch, all I got was complaining and negativity. And on top of Shadowlands, I also found something else really frustrating. Is every game I played, it was the same story. I joined Overwatch, I started playing Overwatch pretty late into Overwatch 1's lifespan, and it was the same story. I was told that the game is dead, that, it's too late to get started, but I played it and had an absolute blast. And then Diablo 4 came out, and I played that, but I enjoyed that too, but now Diablo 4 is bad, and it just seems like the gaming community is in this negative feedback loop of it seeming like it's no longer cool to just like something. And so I just wanted to make this video just to put out there that not everyone hated Shadowlands, and not everyone hates every game that comes out. And that it's okay to like stuff. If you like something, just like it. You don't need permission. You don't need your favorite YouTuber or streamer to agree with you. You can just like things, and that's cool. And you know what else you can do too is you can let other people like things too. I know that's crazy, but you can also just let other people enjoy things too. So that's it. Just had some thoughts I needed to get out. Appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.